all aspects of their culture represented.
Kangaroos acknowledge and pay respect to our traditional owners. We welcome all nations to our country for this World Cup, and we will rise as one.
Like the coat of arms on our heart. We will be selfless. And with the chevron on our chests, we will be selfless in victory. We are from different backgrounds, but we strive for excellence and will rise united.
Well, that is quite a performance. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that on a rugby league field before. Let's hope they've been spending as much time in rehearsal for that as they have been for some of their planned moves this week from an England point of view.
Let's hope they haven't there. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, since Mal Meninga come into the job, they've won 7 from 7, but he's the one who brought the big respect and a bit more passion into the organisation, and it's just shown with that. And Sam Thaiday was a major contributor to penning those words. When he was injured last in the Four Nations, he was sitting in hospital.
So Thaiday's not involved for Australia in this World Cup, and Thurston, who delivered it, is not involved as well. But what about the players who are? This is going to be quite a test here tonight for England. England looking forward towards an horizon of opportunities that this World Cup offers. How far they might travel will be gauged in part tonight. But Australia, formidable opposition in fullback Billy Slater, hooker Cameron Smith, for example. They can lay claim to being the best ever in green and gold in their position. And here we go. Our referee tonight, Mike Chechin, preparing to get it underway. Cameron Smith has planted the ball down. Billy Slater back on the international scene. James Graham utterly prepared. The countdown, the kickoff to the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. It all starts in Melbourne. Australia against England. 12 more nations entering the fray this weekend, but this very much the focus of the opening weekend. And what a ferocious start we've got here.
Excellent. Test match football at its best.
Well, these are going to be uncompromising opening minutes here, aren't they?
You've got to be a little bit concerned when you come out of the line. You've got to make sure you nail it, Brian. Otherwise, you'll lose some space.
Well, they haven't been phased by that early contact, the English boys, and pretty clear where they're going right up the middle of that ruck at the moment.
Well, first little victory there for Sam Burgess, who managed to step away from David Clemmer. The kick is good, but Valentine Holmes is up to catch. It's a very good chase by the English defenders. Australia start from there.
Yeah, Brian, in Wayne Bennett's coaching, he always talks about completing the first 10 sets. He's looking for 100% completion. They'll be ticking them off. No thrills, just up the middle, like you said.
Yeah, and he'll be looking for a little bit of structure, a little bit of line speed from the English. I think if they have advantage England here today, it's with that big pack of forwards I see there going forward. Big Sam with a hit on Cronk, but it's back to 6, so they're going to have 6 more players, but they won't desist in that kind of attitude.
Well, a couple of winning moments for Sam Burgess in his opening stages. Here comes David Clemmer. Australia in possession inside the English half for the first time tonight in the opening 2 minutes. Cronk with a short ball. Gillett. Cameron Smith sidling up to dummy half again. Here's Aaron Woods. James Graham wrapping himself around the knees of Woods at the play. The ball is still quick, and Cameron Smith is away here, looking for support. Back it comes again to David Klemmer, who slams that huge body into the England line. Australia poised here. Cronk with a kick, high over the top of Ryan Hall, but over the top of the dead ball line, and it's a 7-tackle restart. England with a tackle on the 20.
Well, Cronk will be disappointed with that because he had it nailed. Had the numbers against England on this England left side defence on the back of what Klemmer did to the line, and their middle people, Cameron Smith particularly, probing in and around the ruck. Good start from Australia offensively.
Two different styles, but weren't they, Brian? Where England will go up the middle, where they were very keen to get to the edges, both sides of the edges, Australia, just to move away from the ruck area.
He's looking at a dummy half, and there's a lift for England because the penalty for offside. And a chance for them to settle a few nerves here. Luke Gale just having a little chatter amongst his teammates. Aaron Woods is the man who's been pinged.
Anyway there, Luke.
It's not the best touch fighter Luke Gale will ever produce, but
Thanks, Chris.
it has at least given England a tap restart inside their opponent's half. And here comes Sam Burgess again. Hodgson out of dummy half. Graham now carrying them on. Best position England have had in these opening stages. O'Loughlin, Widdop, closed down Lomax, but he's bounced away from the tackle of Dugan. Well, look how close they are here. Hodgson again. O'Loughlin, he can deliver a pass, and there he does, and Watkins trying to work his way through a couple of defenders. McGilvray spinning it back.
Hold the line, go for.
Hodgson, dummies inside to Hill. It comes to Gale instead. Lomax joins in from full-back. It's a step by Bateman. Cronk can't keep hold of him. Burgess slipping it back towards the middle, looking to cause some damage. Last tackle play coming next.
Last tackle, Cameron!
Hodgson. O'Loughlin. Good pass by him over the top to McGilvray.
Get in. That's a try for England.
Will claim the opening try of this World Cup. Matt Chechin will give it. No recourse to the video ref. And what a terrific start this is for the English side. Look at those faces.
Well, they're happy for sure. McGilvray finishes what's been a pretty competent opening attacking set, if you say. They've asked questions on both sides of the field, and it's O'Loughlin that's the key on both sides. Unleashes Widdop with a great out ball, and McGilvray just has to catch it in.
Well, even up to that last tackle, it was a very good set, wasn't it? You know, they were prepared to move the ball, play what was in front of them, got the offload. Gee, it was great vision, wasn't it? You know, because when that player come outside in the jam, well, one of them he was going to pass short, and maybe they were forcing error, Australia, but went over the top. Great vision, given great confidence early.
Well, he's keeping up a fine record here, Jermaine McGilvray. That's 5 tries in his last 5 appearances for England. And there'll be an excitement amongst that group now, won't there? What a start.
Sam Burgess did a great job in that set. You know, his footwork, but also they put him on top of Cronk a few times, and they won the ruck. And with his ability to come back on the inside, didn't panic at all, did he?
And the two best players from O'Loughlin featured 3 times in that movement and doing the right thing for them.
So it's Widdop from very nearly the touchline, just hangs it close, but not quite close enough. So the 4 remains just that.
Well, that's what you need, don't you? When you're underdogs in a game, and everyone talks about you need to build into a tournament.
Well, here's the movement. And it's O'Loughlin that goes up the line, and Widdop's got a 4-on-2 and finds the right pass in the end for McGilvray to finish. Asking questions, outnumbering the Australians. Great start for England.
Well, Lomax out the back caused all the problems because they had the number up on him, and then they went over the top there. But you know, it's just like the way they got out of their half, England. You know, I thought they'd be a little bit more pedestrian, and you'd say a little bit safer. But I like when they got down there in the park, Brian. You know, I mean, they had a bit of confidence about them.
Time your run, fellas.
Well, all the talk and the build-up has been about the centres for England, but who needs a centre when you've got a loose forward who can deliver passes like that to the winger? Here comes Graham. Gale.
Surrender!
Sam Burgess is just sizing himself up again here to take on the big fellas in the middle. Smith and Woods doing the job. Here's Hill again with a little bit of footwork as he hits the line.
And that's Chris Hill's goal. It's a terrific footwork at the line. He always finds his front with the ability to do that.
O'Loughlin. Mosing up, little gesture with his hand as to where he's going to go next here, and he's going to carry it himself. Remember James Roby on the bench as well, so they had that potential to switch the dynamics of dummy half. It's a good kick here, high in the air from Widdop, taken by Billy Slater. You'll remember his debut for Australia, his debut season for Australia in that World Cup in 2008 when he scored a hat-trick in this city against the English. Chambers. It's Clemmer. Just inside the English half here. Here's Smith. Switched away, and a step from Michael Morgan, and a good pass on as well. Kronk's there in support. The cover comes back across, and Kronk's pass is straight into the hands of the recovering Jermaine McGillvray.
Well, they cut England apart, didn't they? It was Kronk and it was Clemmer with a short ball, and McGillvray's Johnny on the spot with those. One of those try-saving plays you're going to need in a game like this, but dangerous signs there from the Australians.
He's normally very clinical at the back end of anything, Kronk. He threw the Hail Mary there.
Ocean, haven't they? The Melbourne triumvirate of Slater, Kronk and Smith here playing together in the same team on this pitch for the very last time. Widdop's kick away. He was under pressure from Woods. Was that
an early kick?
No, it was last tackle. They revved up there.
Look at Cooper Cronk, by the way. He's in a bit of strife at the moment. Look at his sucker. He's just put his fingers up to the bench to say he's okay, but we'll keep a careful eye on that as well. Trbojevic.
Well, England are a little bit worried about how quickly the Australians are getting off the ground, down into play. A little bit more stick from the English defence would certainly please me at this stage.
That's Cameron Smith. Here it's Woods. Again looking to get that offload away, but English defenders are there quickly. So it's the last play. Kronk recovered enough to take part here with a reverse kick that is causing all kinds of confusion. And James Graham in the end can only take it and concede the dropout, but there's more strife here for Cooper Cronk after he got that kick away. This will be a major concern for the Australians.
There's nothing in the tackle from Burgess. He's gone through the middle of him, so it's not late and high. But that's the two-card trick you get with Slater and Kronk, and Smith does it with Kronk and also with Slater, is they kick it back against the grain, back to the post. It's something England have to be very, very conscious of, because they scored numerous tries in the NRL off that play.
It's a form of telepathy. They know where all three of them are.
Yeah.
So there might be a kick to the outside, to the inside, and maybe over the top. It is flying by wire, these new planes. They've just got it so in sync.
They first started playing all three together up in Queensland when they were 17 years of age, and the whole career they've played together, so they certainly know without having to acknowledge what they're going to do.
Well, have a look at this here. Nothing wrong with the tackle, but he was carrying an injury before. In the set before, he needed a little bit of treatment, did Cooper Cronk, and I think that's just exacerbated things. He's taking a bit of a settler here. We've seen Josh Hodgson get some treatment as well. I think that's more to do with England slowing things down before the drop.
The interesting thing, Mal Meninga, the coach of Australia, went with 4 forwards on his bench, not an outsider or utility player. If something was to happen, Wade Graham does have the ability to go from the back row to play 6.
So the kick from Widdop is high. It's taken by Slater, and David Clemmer. The Bulldogs will take it in. He made his debut for Australia on this very ground back in 2014. Here's Trbojevic. Cameron Smith prowling into dummy half again. Here's Woods showing some dangerous touches, and there's one of them, the offload. Smith, Kronk to his right. It's back towards the middle. Trbojevic trying to bulldoze his way through, but England's line stands for the moment. Smith again. Morgan with a pass away. Slater's in at the back, and his kick as well, which McGillvray has fielded in the field of play in the first instance, but has been forced back into the in-goal area for the dropout again. The pressure's building here on England.
Their kicking game is clinical at this part of the field, and I think this is now the third set, is it, for England, and on their own line.
this is their trademark. This is why they're the NRL premiers, the Storm, because of the way Cronk, Slater and Smith build pressure on you. If they feel they can't get anything out of the set, they put the ball in the end goal and get another set of 6. It's just so great the way they build pressure. It's anyone who sits out there who's a halfback or hooker, just watch the way that they are able to read the game and build it.
So Widdop's clearing kick again, which Slater will take, and Woods is quick, involved in the action. How long can England withstand this pressure? They are being tested here.
Elliot up! Come, fellas, come!
Corner gets up and plays. Trbojevic to the 10-metre line. Across to Cronk again. Slater chimes in from full-back with a ball in one hand, but England's defenders have got him covered and drag him down. But more comes. Cronk again. Now Cameron Smith. They're numbering up. This is Morgan. Gets a pass out for Cordner once more. He's dented that line but not punched through. Tackle's running out. Cronk with a kick. He's put too much on that again.
Too big.
Well, his kicking game at the moment has not been A-list, and he has given England another advantage. And what about that lift for the England side to have survived that amount of pressure?
Well, the execution mightn't have been all right, but the opportunity was there on both times. The kick early in the game over the winger, and that one there. If he has precision kicking, they come up with points.
Yeah, but a positive for the England side is that 4 sets on the bounce are defended on their own line.
Yeah.
And in days gone by and in times gone by, they might not have had that kind of character.
Yeah. They'll work on the theory, Australia, that it's taken something out of the English too.
It's Graham's inside ball that Woods has intercepted. There's a bit of history, or should that be future, between those two. Woods moving to the Bulldogs next year. Graham, of course, moving away from the Bulldogs next year to St George, Illawarra, before Ian Millwall tells me off.
St George, Illawarra.
Well, what you don't do is you give a team like Australia free possession, which England did there.
Gillett, having survived one spell, England have to survive again here. Here's Smith. Cronk. Clever. Hammering forward again. It's a good matchup, isn't it? James Graham and David Clemmer, those two going head-to-head on so many occasions. Smith again to Woods, who's a little wider.
Good tackle.
1 to go. One more opportunity for Australia. Left again. Morgan this time, and McGilvray takes no chances.
McGilvery's just become a wicket-keeper for England. That's the 4th time he's cleaned up round the back and booted the ball out. Well played, Jermaine McGilvery.
You made the comment there, Brian. You said great tackle. It was Gareth Widdop. Elliot Whitehead come and helped him. Great tackle by Gareth. You know, really stood his ground, stepped in and on the player. And that's what you got to do. You build confidence with your defence. That's what most teams do. Build confidence with defence. England's getting the opportunity to do plenty of it now.
Just keeping an eye on Cooper Cronk. He seems to be recovering his poise a little. He's
Dave, you're hoping more than anything.
He's having a chat with Dave Gaggai. I think he's going to be okay. The kick is allowed to bounce, and that becomes a problem for the Australians. Morgan can't get to it, and England have it back, and there's another bonus. Wow.
That's a biggie for the English team, getting a ball back from the restart like that. And here goes Jermaine McGilvery, making miles of it.
Well, England riding their luck, but they have made their own luck. No doubt about that, with their strength of will in defence. And now another potential attacking opportunity. Inside for Burgess. Slamming Sam takes England beyond the 30-metre mark. This is Hodgson. It's now with a Lachlan. He can do the tough stuff down the middle, as well as the fancy stuff out wide. 1 play to go. Gale. Slater's keeping an eye on it. It's Gaggai who's caught it safely enough
from Gaggai, wasn't it?
Play.
His first thought was catch the ball, but second was immediate get out of here, so he doesn't do retreat sets on them. Sam Burgess looks sharp. When they're playing the back row, the NRL he plays in the middle, has a lot of wear and tear on him. Great move by Bennett, looks sharp.
He got some criticism, didn't he, in the Four Nations from his coach about his discipline. Took it well by all accounts. Was guilty of giving a few tries away, a few penalties away. Here's Josh Dugan, who can certainly run. Who's at Dunny Hart. Cameron Smith puts it high. First test in the air for Johnny Lomax, but no real pressure as the ball comes down, and England will start from there. Ryan Hall. talking in the build-up about the role he has. It's not just about scoring in every game he's played so far on average, but that kind of carry. Bateman again. It's slow. Gale goes left. Burgess on this left fringe will bring it back towards the middle.
Oh, good carry from Burgess.
Yeah. Hodgson. Here's a Lachlan. Again, it's a pass that misses out a couple, but amongst a couple he misses is his own man as well, Ryan Hall.
Well, that'll be the disappointing thing for England. They've not finished their sets probably in the last three. Two of them have gone to ground and gone to Australia, so just a little bit more method about what they're doing, Dave, and just kick into a corner and take a leaf out of Smith and Cronk's book.
Yeah, well, if you look at the characteristics of Wayne Bennett as a coach, his two things is his teams are the most disciplined team, and also they have the least amount of errors, and their discipline's been good, but the errors coming out of yardage, that's just a cruel blow to them. And I've got to say, if you're looking at body language at the moment, there's a bit of wear and tear in England at the moment because they've had to do the most amount of work coming out of their half. Australia hasn't had to do much work there, have they, Brian?
Well, they've had a lot of defence to do, the English team, so this break at the scrum here will give them the resolve and the recharge that they need.
60 minutes played. Just that one try so far. Jermaine McGilvray, if you're late to us, scored in the fourth. Riddick couldn't kick the conversion from the touchline. Australia, a lot of pressure since then, and here they come with a little more. It's Dugan, gets it away, but they're going to round up Gagai and put him down. Still 35 out from where they want to be, Australia. Here's Cameron Smith again. Trebojevic bursting in. There was a bit of a gap there and some cover required from England. Yeah. It's taken on by Clemmer, and Clemmer's pulled down, but just over 10 metres away. Cameron Smith waits at dummy half. Cronk now. The step by Gagai is stopped in its tracks. Gale and Graham getting there. But they're in a familiar position, the Australians here. Smith to Morgan, and now Slater trying to create a bit of space over there, but some wonderful defending from Watkins in the first instance, and a recovery to make the second tackle a good one as well. Now with Cameron Smith, here comes Jack Trebojevic. Last tackle again. Smith takes it left. Morgan dummies, going nowhere. Ball comes free, but it has been lost. And England have survived again. This is really good defence from England on their own line.
But how much can they do, Ian? Good D England, you're right, Woodsy. They've dug in there, they've found the extra special effort to keep Australia out, but for me, they're still at their look at that tackle.
Yeah, I think the big thing with England, when they work together as a line, and don't, if you look at James, you made the comment then, you went, oh, he'd come out of the line and try to solve it by himself. When they're working as a line together, they're solving it very well. Actually, I thought Slater was going to skin him there, and the way Watkins just sort of bided his time, was nice and patient. It was good.
There's a Lachlan.
Keep working, Jake. Hold.
Says Hodgson. Gale just to his left. Bigger fella there in Sam Burgess. Bateman just in danger of letting the ball slip. Here comes Burgess. Trebojevic rounding him up. This is the last. Gale. Sweeping kick from him towards Valentine Holmes. Crunching effort by Whitehead is across there to make the tackle.
I'm being ultra critical of this England effort, and it's not in any way, shape or form. I think the kicking game could be a bit better.
Yeah. Especially, there hasn't been a lot of kick pressure from Australia. They're always kicking from the halfway, so you'd like to see them hit a bit of space, wouldn't you? The ball's rarely going past the 20-metre line, isn't it? So Australia have got momentum straight away on the 40 on early plays.
Cameron Smith with his kick from just behind the halfway line. Lomax is hurrying back there. It's a decent chase here by the Australians, and Michael Morgan bringing his man down.
Some England players are struggling to get back behind here the ball, and that's Smith reading the play. Let's kick early, let's make them come off their line, let's force an error, or we keep winning field position.
It's a good carry by McGilvray.
Just has a great feel for the game, Cameron Smith.
Watkins with a good offload, keeps it alive. Here's Chris Hill.
Thanks, Aaron. Up, mate. All the way, man. Keep working, mate.
3 yards gain from the smart handling of Watkins on that occasion. Burgess with a step, but Cronk not beaten. Bateman. Gale. drilling it towards the touchline, but there was never any danger of it getting there. Slater immediately delivers it back inside for Gagai.
Well, the chase was pretty good there. They got themselves together, and although it wasn't the longest of kicks, well, this is dangerous. Thing running out dummy half.
Come, Elliot. Come, mate. Quicker, Chris.
Chambers delivering it away. Woods taking it back in. Smith. Woods is looking for a penalty. Kronk, Trbojevic, and Slater comes from out back and makes a bit of damage again, but again the pass is loose, and again it is England who drop on it in Sam Burgess this time.
If you're Australia, they did the first bit real well, and then didn't execute the second bit, which you normally see from this team. So
I think it's a little bit of lack of respect for England. They're putting on their signature plays, Australia, and they're breaking them, but they're not patient if there's nothing on after it. You know, it's very unusual for those key players to be impatient after they've created some space or opportunity.
As Bateman, well, the ambition was there, the execution was there to keep that ball alive, and Lomax will take it on. Seen some good offloads from both centres so far tonight, haven't we? Here's Hodgson again, and Gale, smart, snapping away. Whitehead. Good flowing movement from England again. Watkins back inside, it goes to Elliot Whitehead, and here comes Gareth Widdop. It's a loose pass from him though, and it's intercepted again by Will Chambers. Mistakes from both sides with the handling.
yeah, it was loose, wasn't it? The final pass there.
Well, it was a hope, wasn't it? It was hope. You know, hope's not a good strategy, and that's where Gareth was coming from.
Here's Clemmer. 22 minutes very nearly of this first World Cup match played. Hayward Woods will take it in again. Have we seen an interchange so far? I don't think we have we?
No interchange yet. I don't think we're too far off it, because there's a few big boys blowing out there at the moment.
Here's Kronk, and a good stepping run from him, and England's defence already back on its own line again here. Smith, but it's the sixth. When it comes to Gillett, who's trying to make some space for himself, and I think he's found a way to get over. And the referee again, absolutely certain, the finger pointed, and for all the defending that England have done, they will consider that a real disappointment for Matt Gillett to get over from where he did.
Well, this is fatigue. Just too much, too many breaks and too much defence giving themselves to do. Smith smart here, jumps out of dummy half and he's going at the line.
Have to be good today.
Gillett steps off with his right foot, and it's just the fact that they couldn't quite shape their lineup. He was too fast and too strong there. Stepped on the inside of Luke Gale, and it's Smith that picks out that Gale's going sideways. Gillett comes off his right foot and puts his foot on the gas and gets over the line.
Well, Smith was looking to kick for Slater then, he pushed up, so the England defence held back because they thought they might have to retreat back and get the ball into the Angolia. And of course they didn't get forward. All of a sudden Gillett had a bit of space and he was able to power him there. But I think the biggest problem for England at the moment, when Australia goes to the edge, and we talk about the fourth defender, that's the fourth defender in from the sideline, they are making some really good metres and creating space, especially over on Australia's left, on Gareth Widdop's right around Elliot Whitehead. And that momentum they're making there, on the next rucks they seem to be able to dominate with Smith jumping out from dummy half. So that's something they're going to have to get forward and make their tackles on an edge, because it's creating the momentum for Australia. Well, do you hear what Cooper Cronk said then? We need to complete the next 5 sets. Let's get in a rhythm. And that'll be the goal from both teams at the moment.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a double interchange for England before very long. Down on the sidelines, Chris Hyington and Tom Burgess are both stripped and ready to go. They're getting some last-minute instructions from Paul Wellens down there. Meanwhile, we watch on as Cameron Smith kicking terrifically well, right between the uprights. So Australia have the lead for the first time by 6 points to 4.
Here's your example. Gale charging too hard because they're expecting the kick, give himself too much to do, and Gillette's too much of an athlete to come off his right foot too quick.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to get forward then and rely on the fullback. You do your job, but when they sat back, all of a sudden Gillett dominated, and he's probably the form back row in the NRL. Tremendous player from the Brisbane Broncos.
With a restart, and Aaron Woods will bring it back with some determination, but met with And equal determination from those English defenders. Here's Clemmer. Smith again. Trbojevic down the middle. 3 tackles gone, short of the 30-metre mark at the moment. Australia trying to make some indentations here. Quickly by Smith again. Trbojevic. Pass was late and the tackle hit him in the ribs quite early there from McLaughlin. 6 again, kicked away by Crump, and there was some pressure on him again because Chris Hill took him and flattened him after the kick was away, but it was judged as okay. Lomax trying to thread. Bateman is quick out of dummy half here. Graham and Hill have come off, by the way. Heighington and Tom Burgess are on the field. Here's the first carry from Tom Burgess. And the first also from Heighington. Real freshness now to this England pack with those two coming on for a time or two. Hodgson out early. Good kick as well. The bounce holds it up though. Slater will catch it on that bounce.
Australia making their change now too, so both teams changing their middle pack. Australia got Jordan McLean and Josh Maguire will come on. Both very powerful forwards. It's a responsibility of both replacements now. Can they up the ante? Because I believe both packs have done a good job so far, Brian.
Yeah, I agree with that. They'll be very, very tight in and around the middle.
Jordan McLean making his debut. He's another of the Melbourne contingent of late. He's going to North Queensland next year, but in these 4 or 5 years he's been a part of the scene in these parts. Cameron Smith out again. He's finding some green grass down the middle. Lomax careful with the footwork. There's a chasing posse of green and gold to get to him quickly before he meets the 10-metre mark.
I think this is the big difference between the teams at the moment. It's the quality of the kicking game.
England start every set coming off their line inside the 20 metres. Australia start every set 30 to 40 metres out from their try line. It's a big difference with momentum at the ruck and then also where you can kick. Australia definitely win that battle.
Hooks it inside and Tom Burgess with the effort again. Here's a Locklear down that centre passage, hinting at potential width there, but the defence was good enough and Widdop will kick away. Gagai moves across to catch, 10 from his own line. England's line quick to get up there. Gagai put down. One-handed pickup from Billy Slater, gathered in but not well enough, and Slater spins away.
Imagine having to tackle him, Brian. And then he comes at you.
Where do you start?
Yeah.
Which bit of your body you get, because it moves.
Yeah. Oh.
Here's McLean. Again a quick pick up here and carry forward this time by Michael Morgan. He's still keeping it alive. It's Maguire. Fourth tackle is the next, so they've got time here. Crump with the ball. Tyson Frizzell has come onto the field. Welsh international at the last World Cup, of course. Very much a part of the Australian scene here, and he's won a penalty. O'Loughlin all over him.
Wow.
And very kickable here as well, right in front of the sticks. Do they go for 2?
No, they're going to play because they feel like they've got good possession. They feel like there's a bit of wear and tear in the England team. I think it's a good play.
That's exactly what they've done. They've set themselves up here. 5 tackles to go from here. Cameron Smith and Frizzell trying to work a passage around those big English defenders. It's Smith. Now Cronk. Gillette. And Slater! Well, it's all too easy again, it seemed. Billy Slater just bamboozling that English defence with a thread of a pass and then a skip to the line, and Australia have back-to-back tries and a lead now of 10 points to 4.
Oh, tough penalty, Brian.
Tough penalty, gives them the field position. Cronk just picks out, and Slade's just there. They gave him too much on the offload from Gillette, who run an outline. He just picked his spot after that. Was too quick.
Yeah, but Bateman's got to go there. He's got nothing to work behind him. He's on his try line. You've got to get forward. You know, and he sort of backpedal. You had to go forward at him there, and It's just weight of possession, weight of field position. Yeah, they've come up with some errors, Australia, in execution. But gee, you feel very confident when it gets in the Slaters, the Cronks' hands, don't you? They're going to execute well.
They look slick, don't they? They look efficient and speedy on the outside. I think it's a little bit of fatigue playing its part as well in relation to the England defence, and they pretty much spent, other than the time they scored the try, all their ball has been in their own half.
Well, as the Australians talk amongst themselves, the English are making another change here. Sean O'Loughlin is coming off, and as he comes off, he's just had a word with Matt Cetchin as well. I'm not sure what that's about.
Well, see, Brian, there's been no... sorry, Brian, there's been no penalties. You know what I mean? So Sean's saying, did that really warrant that much on a late tackle when you've been pretty lenient on most of that stuff in the game? So that's why he's saying, like, I can get it, but are you going to do it on every ruck? Because I felt we were under the hammer there, and you sort of created, something really tough for us to handle after it.
So Cameron Smith just...
So there's only been 2 penalties in the whole half.
Yeah, 1 apiece so far. 10 minutes of the half remaining. Cameron Smith just looking to keep up that 100% record, but he's pulled it wide, so it remains at 10 points to 4. And nervous moments here for Ben Curry as we watch that try again.
Well, it is the lack of going forward. He said John Bateman's sat back in his armchair on his haunches, and you just can't give Billy Slater that amount of time to get it. Yeah.
He goes to Billy, the winger goes to the last man, and if they can get the ball over the top, well, they've beaten us on execution, but they needed to take away their time by hustling.
So we were saying nervous moments here for Ben Curry, because he's come onto the field for his England debut. All likelihood he would have made his debut there. You see him, the number 18 in the Four Nations last year, had it not been for injury. He's had a season that has been decimated by injury, but he could finish on a high in an England shirt.
Big 9 minutes, Dave. It only becomes a 10-4 scoreline. They're well earned, England, but they don't want to leak one before half-time. And give it a little bit of a different atmosphere at half-time for both coaches.
Jordan McLeod. Smith going right, Frizzell. Not so much when he comes on from the bench. There's Cronk again. Ryan Hall's underneath it, gets a little bit of protection from defenders ahead of him. Josh Hodgson is racing to the sidelines. James Roby's going to be coming on in his stead, so a little bit of zip here added to that dummy half position. Roby with his first involvement. Lomax, his St Helens teammate, McGilvray. Michael Morgan gathers him in. Pine straightening up. It has been a story of a half that has seen Australia dominate for the most part. England starting really brightly, didn't they? Those opening 5 or 6 minutes in which they've scored. But they've had to soak up a lot of pressure ever since then. Kick away from Hodgson. Slater with a catch. He's got to stop.
Well, this is a big defensive set for England. They've got to restrict the territory of the Australians in relation to get out of their own half and try and establish some field positioning around the middle. I'm so right, Ian, about how big important this last 8 minutes is.
You see, all possession, England's spent the whole game coming out of their half. I think if you look at the meters, they're doubled for Australia. If you look at tackles in the opposition half, they're absolutely, I think it's 17-4 at the moment. Because Australia haven't had to do much work coming there. England's only been down there once, Brian, and they've come up with a try, and that's been the telling tale at the moment.
Cameron Smith again, Morgan and Slater chiming in. It's Dugan. Australia will have to think about a kick here in the last again. Morgan this time with the height. Again, Lomax with a straight.
See where they're starting. They start on that 10-metre line. So they're striving to get over the halfway line, where it's a different ball game for Australia. They're kicking from 30 metres out every time.
And there's no mental pressure for Australia either.
There's Burgess. Step on a carry by him, but he can't go too far. Roby in there again. Well, there's a concern here, is there, for Burgess? There's a little bit of entanglement.
right,
Matt
Sam?
Gillett seemed to be
You
worried
right, mate?
about
Okay,
Sam
mate.
Burgess's health for just a
Come
moment,
on,
but
tackle 3. Play the ball,
Burgess
mate.
gets up and plays the ball. I think he might need a bit of treatment. He's
Oh, nice run.
Good carry.
stretching a little. Is Sam, there you are. He's not. I think he's off. I think he's off here from that sign from the pitch. Lomax there with the ball away. Watkins.
Nice play and well executed.
Sam is not off. He's jogging back towards the line to get involved here, but it's on the last play. The kick, and Hall does really well. There's an Australian touch there.
No, he definitely touched it.
Referee says it is still at the 6th tackle. It's hoisted high by Curry. It's taken well in the end by Dugan, I think it was, on that far side.
Now, I don't know if it was me. I thought Will Chambers got to touch that ball.
He definitely got a touch. Here's Holmes. Slater carrying it really dangerously from Donny Hart. He's so sharp. England's defence not allowed to settle. McLean bullies it in, offloads. Smith keeps it alive. Now it comes right. Back on the inside, Gagai to Morgan. Smith. Maguire. Lots of groans around the crowd, but you heard the referee say it was all right, it wasn't high. Smith again. Twisting it left. Courtney with a kick through. McGilvray will just watch it out here. Quite happy to see it go away.
Oh, it's a good thing.
Head and feed at the scrum here for England.
Yeah, I'm just watching Sam Burgess here. He's struggling with his leg. He's he just said, he's just
Second time. The physio came on straight away and said he's off. And Burgess got up and he wanted to carry on, but the way he's walking at the moment, look at that. That's where the injury was. What is this, a hamstring?
I don't know if it's a hamstring. I wouldn't be surprised it's some medial in his knee. He just... Having said that, I did fail when I tried to become a doctor.
Well, if it's a medial in his knee, we're talking tournament, aren't we?
I get that the medical staff know what that is. I'm wondering if he's carried that in with him. They're not prodding and poking, so they may have an idea what it is.
It'll be a blow for England. Certainly a blow for England that he's off at the moment. But a blow for England if it's extended beyond this game as well. Here's Ryan Hall. Now this is what he does really well, bringing the ball out from inside his own half. And now Bateman adding to that effort by the outside backs. Roby to Graham. Those two back in harness. It's Heighington.
Well, they've moved Ben Curry out of this left second row and brought James Graham back in the middle. So, good to see Curry. He's a very talented player.
Got some pace as well, hasn't he? And that's Lomax who's let it. Wasn't the best of passes to Johnny Lomax. And Australia have it back again. 3.5 minutes of the half remaining. England a score behind at the moment. A try and a goal. Here's Smith. Courtney. Cameron Smith has 3 on that outside, including Morgan, who ships it away to Dugan. Valentine Holmes. Knox's supplier back towards the middle again. Here's Smith. The short pass for McLean, whose offload is good, and Cronk did well to carry hold of that.
Great tackle from Roby.
Smith again. Maguire. There's a threat here. Courtney. Dugan. Haven't seen him pass yet. 10 metres out. 6 tackles the next. Back it comes to Cronk. Cronk's kick across field. Low trajectory. Anybody's ball, but taken really well by Ryan Hall. Great wing play.
Australia look like they're going to get the ball there. That's outstanding leap in the air, especially from an area that's famous for Australian rules. That would have been up there with the best.
Here's Curry.
So it wasn't a high kick, was it? Low trajectory. You had Chambers underneath it. Gagai. Oh, I thought that was landing straight in their lap, didn't you?
Roby. Little scoot away again there by James Roby. Bit of collision that's left Tyson Frizzell feeling the pain of the competition. It's Gale with a kick. And again, it's Gagai who catches easily enough and can bring it back, and Australia's start on the 40-metre mark, just short in their set.
It's a bit of the same old story. I think getting to half-time will be a benefit to England rather than Australia.
Yeah, I think Wayne would be looking to have a bit of a chat to him, tell him a lot of the positive done. and how sort of a bit more meticulous and clinical we've got to be, and how we're going to get out of our half a little bit better at the moment, because I think that they've got to get away from just going up the middle. There's got to be a little bit of a shift sometimes there, Brian, you know, just to break up Australia at the moment, because their defence up the middle is very good, Australia.
Cameron Smith. There's Frizzell. This needs him just been warned to watch the neck there with the tackle. Smith. Here's Cronk inside to Smith, and Slater. It's the triumvirate that strikes and puts Australia in this position. Maguire is held up short, but some brilliance down the middle by the Melbourne three, and now it goes left. The ball out, McGilvray with the interception, and a clearing run as well. He might not go the distance here, but that's a massive lift again.
Wow.
How many times has he been that last-ditch defender that's come up with something special, and Roby on again towards the halfway line.
What a save that was. Again, McGilvray to the rescue, because they were done and dusted with England right-hand side defence there, and he picked it out of the air and saved England and came up with the ball where they need to be.
What about the game breaker up the middle? That little play, you know, you talk about the band, or they're playing their best tunes, because haven't they broke them up the middle there a couple of times with that inside pass back to Slater?
Hall at dummy half, and Graham, and the pass away. It's a quick closing down job on Riddick. Nothing he could do. Roby to Graham. He's looking for some honest endeavour to give England the platform here on the last play. The hooter sounds in the background. Wouldn't this be a good time to score? Gale's kick is high. It's just punched out of play off an Australian hand. They'll take that, and they'll take this. A lead at half-time of 10 points to 4, fellas. What have you made of those opening 40 minutes?
Oh, look, I think both teams the first game have come up some errors, which has compounded, made it a little bit tougher for them. But at the bottom end, Australia have made more clean breaks. I think it's 6 clean breaks to 1. That's probably a true indication of the game, because of the possession they've had.
So half-time here at Melbourne, and Australia are leading by 10 points to 4.
Feels like a very dominant first half performance from Australia, but England are still in it, just a converted try behind. Look at the difference in missed tackles, nearly 3 times as many missed tackles from England as Australia. England completed 13 of their 17 sets, Australia 17 of their 21. Would that be fair, Justin? It feels like a dominant first half from Australia, and yet England are by no means out of it.
No, and that's a real positive. I'm sure Wayne Bennett will be stressing that at half time to the players. You know, they are only 1 try behind. Australia have obviously dominated field position, and the big three of Melbourne I spoke about. You know, they've been the difference. They've come up with 3 little Melbourne Storm plays playing for Australia, and all 3, you know, a kick early, and then 2 dangerous plays they nearly scored before half time. So those 3 are probably the difference in the sides. But you know, from an England point of view, I think outstanding to only be 1 try behind. Yeah,
England's defence has definitely been the big positive for the majority of that game.
Yeah, and it's certainly been our goal line defence. We've done so much goal line defence. That's a huge positive from the first half from me. Last plays, Australia have been far in front of us so far, and some of that, it was mentioned in commentary, how far up the field Australia are kicking the ball and how little from our goal line we're kicking the ball. It's not all down to who's kicking the ball and his job, and he can't kick the ball far enough. But the variety in the Australians' game as well. Smith's dominance from 9 has been brilliant.
Just one other thing on the kicking, and then we'll look at the tries. But on the kicking, you can get into a vicious cycle there, can't you? Depending on where you are in the field. It must be very difficult to break out of that.
Very much so. Momentum's massive at this level. And when you get in an arm wrestle with Australia, when Australia have the dominance of last plays, we need something special to try and break that down. At the minute, we haven't found it. I think at the minute, Wayne's line after the 4 Nations defeat to Australia last year was we beat ourselves. This first 40, that's how I feel. But I feel, like Justin said, we can turn that around pretty quickly. The half-time will be good for us. Let us regroup, get some key messages out, and let's have another goal second half.
Sorry, go on, Justin.
I was going to say, I thought the positive was what Kevin and I spoke about, that England started well and they beat them with rugby league. They scored the first try saying, hey, we're here to play. I thought that was a positive, but like I said, Cameron Smith's 2 kicks, when he drilled one down the corner, then he bent one back midfield, and they were huge kicks.
Here is that first try, Robbie.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about there. England playing rugby in the right part of the field, and I think they got away from that a little bit. Simple play, O'Loughlin squaring the ball up, and I think that's really important. He's got to go straight. When he goes straight, Elliott then comes on a short line, holds the defensive line out the back to Widdop, and Widdop picks the right man. He could have picked one of 3 players there, and they all would have scored. But that's the sort of, when they're playing composed, controlled rugby league, England can score. There's too much talent in those 17 players for them not to get over the try line.
So when we look at Australia's first try, you talk about controlled and composed. Gareth Widdop set that one up. Is this less controlling and composure because it was his misplaced pass that eventually set everything up for the Australian first try?
Yeah, this was on the back of, I think, 3 or 4 sets after coming on the back of 2 other areas before this. But yeah, Widdop, he skips across, and this is just a ball to no one. It's a ball into space. They had made about 30 tackles before this set come into play, and the energy levels were just going low. And as you can see, they're just punching holes into England's setup. The markers do not get set. You've got Josh Hodgson still left on the ground there. That means that there's someone out of the line somewhere on your own try line, and this is exactly what Australia now capitalise on. Defensive holes are there now because the line's not set. Right foot step by Gillett, and he scores a try. It's too close and too much hard work for England to do anything about that.
It's a good side step for a second row, though.
I mean, this isn't a magic play, though. This isn't a Cronk, Smith, Slater special. This is just a simple pass to a back rower who has 6 yards to carry and makes it over the line. I think when we look on what set that try up and Gareth Widdop's pass, I think that piece of play before that is stuff we've got to carry on doing. Justin mentioned, we've got to play football against this team. If we go into our shell now because we're tired, because we've made some errors, we just fall into Australia's hands. We've got to ask some questions.
Yeah, that was unfortunately for Gareth with a huge error. You know, as Robbie said, they defended their line so well, and they throw it to nobody. Australia were getting tired as well.
But do you accept that partly as a coach because you're trying to play football?
No, because...
You don't accept the error, but...
Well, he should have thrown it at someone. He threw it to no one. You know, it was the second phase play, and I thought, you know, they're generating something here. England, they're going really well, and then come up to no one, and if you're defending a lot on your try line, then make errors, then Australia's speed of the ruck becomes important, and that's what led to that try. They just couldn't contain them around the ruck. As Robbie said, mark it down, and the speed of the ruck's going to hurt England if they keep making errors, but they do have to keep playing. It's the only way they're going to win.
Kevin, you talk about beating yourselves, and in fact, Australia's second try came from a penalty that Sean O'Loughlin conceded.
Yeah, I think that it's been refereed really well this game. I think there's only been 2 penalties awarded, so the game's been allowed to flow. Yeah, there probably could have been a couple of these in that first half. Sadly, you know, it's right in our goal line. We've done a lot of defence. It's late on in the half. We just couldn't keep Australia out. A big positive for me is, look, Australia, I've been scoring, I'm like a box of scorecard here. I've got Australia up 14-4, but they also got 3 repeat sets to 0, and that just shows the field position and dominance that Justin's mentioned already. When a team's attacking your line at this level for that amount of time, they're going to score tries and get points from.
And as Kev said, 1 penalty each, it's hurting England because of Australia's dominance with field position and possession. I mean, to be honest, it'd probably help England if there were some more penalties in the game to slow the game up a bit, because if you're on the wrong end of possession and it's a fast game, you're in trouble. So that's why I think 10-4 is an outstanding position for how the half panned out.
And as we can see at the moment, it looks like Wayne Bennett here, Rob, is getting his captain to do his team talk at the moment, or get his message across to the players.
Well, the conversation before the game, and Sean O'Loughlin was saying, is we need to complete our sets. We need to pull that ball away from Australia. That doesn't mean shut up shop. It just means that they've got to make better decisions. And I think fatigue has played its part in their first half. 3 back-to-back sets by one team means that you're having to do a lot more defence. I don't think England's had a single back-to-back set yet, and that's putting no pressure on their Australian line. And I think it's been most evident in yardage. You see England are falling on the ground. Their defence defensive sets, the defensive positioning from their markers, a lot of the time they're only getting one player into marker position. Now Cameron Smith will eat that alive all day long. You'll constantly be on the back foot. That means that their halves will be able to play in space. That means their edge players will be able to set up their plays a lot better, and you're going to constantly be having a barrage of green and gold jumpers coming at you.
I was trying to actually pay real attention to that England dressing, because I was trying to see whether I could see Sam Burgess in that circle, and I couldn't at that stage. And that will be a worry if he has gone off. Well, he did go off injured with what we think was a knee problem, but until that point he was putting himself about.
Yeah, I thought he had a fantastic first stint. To see him back on an edge is great for England. Obviously Sean holds that middle for us in that 13th position, but Sam does what he does best. Big, strong ball carrying with an offload, plus he's very good defensively as well. We were missing that second half. I think so far I feel like we're a bit subdued here in summarising and talking over but we're still in a really good position, and Wayne Bennett will fix a few bits now, and they'll come out and have a real go.
That's going to be a concern, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't look good, you know, and hopefully it's only minor. It's a metre, you've got different gradings, haven't you? You've got a 1, a 2 or 3, and, you know, so I'm hopeful for Sam and England in the tournament itself that he's not out long, and it'd be great to see him back in the second half.
It concerns me because Sam doesn't walk off a field.
Yeah.
He's not that type of. He plays one style of rugby league, and you got to take him. The coach has got to take him off. He doesn't normally walk off.
OK, we'll be back for the second half shortly as we begin our Rugby League World Cup coverage. However, there's been some sad news in Rugby League this week, losing 2 of its former players. Ken Gowers was a Swinton Lions Rugby League legend. He still holds the record for the most appearances, points scored and goal scorer for the club. He was also an Ashes tourist and the proud recipient of 14 Great Britain caps, 1 England cap and 12 Lancashire caps. And Rugby League also lost the legend that was Tom van Vollenhoven this week as well. A Rugby League star, a St Helens star when he switched codes. Ray French was his teammate at the club.
Tom van Vollenhoven, former South African Rugby Union player, St Helens Rugby League player, 397 tries in all. What can one say? One can say plenty. Amazing speed. In fact, he'd done 9.8 for 100 yards in a Commonwealth Games tournament. He could beat man after man. But the beauty of him was his pace, his sidestep and his swerve. Give him 6 inches, give him 9 inches. He once said to me, Ray, don't bother making an overlap, just give me the ball, and he would score. Before signing for St Helens, Tom was a player for South African Rugby Union, especially when the visit of the 1955 British Lions took place. And what a series he had.
Van Vollenhoven, brilliant run to score his hat-trick.
First South African player to score 3 tries in a test match at Rugby Union in his own country. Little wonder that St Helens and Wigan went in to try to make him a professional. St Helens was successful at a cost to the club of £7,230, the biggest fee ever paid for a Rugby Union player at that time.
I scored some beautiful tries here, and I can't complain about anything I've done in St Helens. It's like home to me, and I can never praise them enough.
He was a very humble man. Despite his success, he had great humility. I'll never forget the first training night. He came across and said, Ray, train with me. You can imagine myself, a young lad, training with the legend, Tom van Vollenhoven. Fans of Vollenhoven's generation in the 50s and the 60s will well remember him hurtling down that wing, be it Knowsley Road or be it Wembley in that very famous 1961 final against Wigan. Pace, poise, sidestep, swerve. Tom van Vollenhoven had everything to be the complete player.
Lovely tribute from Ray French. And Kevin, our thoughts are also with the family and friends of Tommy Smales, former Great Britain captain and coach, who passed away yesterday.
Yeah, another real sad loss to the game. An absolute legend. So a big mentor of mine growing up. Sad loss.
Thank you. This is the BBC's coverage of the Rugby League World Cup. It will continue over the next 5 weeks across BBC Online and BBC Radio as well. And today we'll be on the red button once we're off here on BBC Two. So anything you want to ask about, hashtag BBCRL. We'll look ahead to the other games coming up in the tournament. So Wales, Ireland and Scotland and their involvement as well. We'll have highlights of this game a little bit later on BBC Two. So that'll be at 10 to midnight. And more highlights coming your way. BBC One tomorrow for all of those games from 1:15. And also on Sunday, when you'll get highlights of Ireland, Italy and Scotland, Tonga and France, Lebanon. That will be Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. What do you want to see from England, Kevin, in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of this second half?
I want us to see us get some dominance back. I want us to see us play in Australia's half. I want us to attack their line. I think it was mentioned in commentary, we've been in their 20-metre area once and we scored points, so let's get back down there.
And for Australia, they'll be saying one more try and we think we'll put them away.
Yeah, they'll just want to keep building pressure and obviously they're very good at that. So I agree with Kev. For England, they've got to go out and make it happen. You know, Australia won't beat themselves, so they've got to go out and play and hopefully likes of Sean O'Loughlin, Gale, Widdop and Lomax can chance their arm a bit and jag a couple, because I'd love to see them come back.
Yeah, I want them to go out there and absolutely bash each other so they're softer when they get to New Zealand.
Always about you, Robbie. Somehow, there we go. So there's the half-time score. Australia 10, England 4. Let's rejoin our commentary team led by our correspondent Dave Woods.
Well, there is a bit of gloom, isn't there, at the moment around England, but we need only focus our eyes on the scoreline. 10 points to 4 for Australia, just 1 try, 1 goal. England are very much in this competition, but you can understand the element of pessimism at the moment, Brian Noble, around England, because Australia have dominated so much, especially in that first half, and the loss of Sam Burgess is potentially big as well.
Yeah, all I would say is their strategy is a little bit more clinical, that they're hoping that somebody's going to make a break, or they're hoping they've got to break the stranglehold that Australia have on them, and they can do that one of 2 ways. They can kick the ball better, or they can run harder and find some position in relation to that, and that's down to the England players to do it, about their character. They're doing some amazing things. I think they're intact in that respect, but I just think we're a bit clunky, if that's the right expression, and the Australians look certainly more slicker than we do.
And Ian, from an Australian point of view, is there a concern at this stage? Is it just the fact that the scoreline is not as big as they want, or is there anything you've seen in there that you'd suggest would be concerning about their dynamics?
I think we've got to go back to what we said at the start of the game. They're a very well-oiled machine, Australia, through the back of their spine of Cronk and Smith and Slater and Morgan. And I think we all said before the tournament started, England will build momentum, which I think that they're doing that in this game, regardless of what the score will be. Australia, they're very clinical and they're playing well. Look, I don't think there's gloom and doom at all. I'm seeing some things out of England. They've defended well. They just need more possession.
We love an optimistic Aussie, especially when he's talking about the English. So thank you for that, Ian.
I think the performance as a whole, and McGilvery and Watkins has looked special. Some of the big blokes in and around the middle. I thought James Roby came and added a lot of impetus to the team. So absolutely right. There's a pulse there for sure.
So keep in mind too, we're talking about a 10-4 scoreline. You know, and we're talking about improvement in both teams in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 1 is the key, isn't it? We've got 6 long weeks to go here. Whatever happens here tonight, there's every chance that these two could meet in the final in Brisbane on December the 2nd. The whole tournament underway this weekend, of course, as Frizzell, his former Welsh team, up against Papua New Guinea. This weekend in Port Moresby, the Irish and the Scots getting underway as well, and all the other nations. There's a good kick. Oh, Lomax has let it bounce away, and he'll be relieved at the very least that it's gone dead, and it hasn't handed Australia a try on a plate, but what it has handed Australia is a position on a plate.
Well, at this level you have to catch that, and that's not taking anything away from the fact that you have to catch it, bottom line.
Well, he attacked it and he went up for it, he just didn't execute, did he? And You know, it's as good as a repeat set. And once again, where Australia were kicking to. On that 10-metre line, they're going to build pressure regardless. If he dropped it, they're going to build it with their defence. And so a bit of deja vu from the first half.
Elliot Bond, please, mate.
Well, they're in a similar position on the field in terms of defending inside their 20 here. There's a man missing from the scrum. Callum Watkins suddenly has to stick his head where the sun doesn't shine, and it was an old-fashioned scrum. It was almost one against the head, and a knock-on from Billy Slater.
Well, there's the result. Just like Johnny Lomax should have caught the ball, so Billy Slater there.
Yeah, they got it in each other's way, Australia. They're going to come up with a bit of an intricate play here. Slater was going to come at the back of Cronk. You know, Valentine Holmes was coming from his left wing over to the open side, and he just couldn't get a clean ball away, Cordner, from the scrum base.
Thanks, fellas.
I think it was the disruption in the scrum that got the timing out.
It was a scrum out of the 70s you used to put your head in there, didn't you, Brian Noble, in that kind of situation?
That's why it looks like it does, Dave.
Cause chaos.
Play it on the mark,
but it's England who had possession, and no matter how they've got it and how it came to be, they will be happy that they do. And here,
good carry, Tom Burgess.
Tom Burgess survives in the fray. Graham now, he's got a big role here, as he would have had before, but even bigger in terms of leadership while he's on the field. Roby still out there, Hodgson still on the bench, and now Curry. Earlier than expected involvement for him. Wasn't in the original 17, to remind you, but an illness for Walmsley has put him in there. Hyington, best position England have been in for a while here, but they've already run out of tackles. So on the 6, Willett puts it up there. Who's going to come and challenge? Valentine Holmes is the man who leaps prodigiously. He seemed to stay in midair for an awful long time, but he caught the ball in so doing.
Well, this is the first time England have kicked the ball maybe on the 10-metre line. Now they've got to back that, back their energy and their effort to restrict the territory of this Australian team.
There's Dugan. Still hasn't passed.
No, but what you said there before about running harder, that was a good set with Burgess and Graham, the metres they made. Good, strong runs.
Jordan McLean, the man in there looking for the offload, and Chambers now takes it on. This is the final play in this set, and that spiralling kick and all as well to catch it. Now, how good is his return? He's running straight at Gagai, and a little bit of power has seen him back on the 35. That's a decent result for England.
Yeah, and it's on the back of what they did at the other end of the field. They get the ball on the 30-metre line, 35-metre line. It was before, previously it was in the 5 and the 10 and under pressure.
Roby. Here comes Tom Burgess. Twin brother George might consider himself unlucky not to be in the England squad for this World Cup. With it back to Lomax. The miss-out pass has given McGilvray a chance to find a corridor down the middle, and he's still going here. Damaging effort by him. England setting themselves up in position now. Hyington swings it left. Gale pops it out there. Curry with a pass away, but trying to close Bateman down. Hedo finds Hall. Hall with a push and a swivel and a turn. Bateman can't keep hold. Did the ball go backwards? No, the referee says the initial drop was forward. But there was some excitement there. There was some creativity from England.
Well, lots of exciting things on the back of Widdop going out the back with a misplay by Lomax, which releases Jermaine McGilvray. Watch him go, feeds his way through the middle. Here you see, here's the Lomax pass, and gives McGilvray the opportunity to weave his way and find a hole and find a space, which he does real well. Hard to stop. He didn't quite execute on the fringe when they went to the other way.
There has been some delightful stuff out wide from England, hasn't there?
Yeah, but they just haven't had that opportunity in good ball to utilise some of that vision and skills that they've shown a couple of times under pressure.
So the Aussies with a hard labour to do here to bring it clear. And Smith, there's a little seagull swooping around the stadium as well. Cameron Smith gathers in. There's Boyd Cordner from the Sydney Roosters, New South Wales captain, of course. A lot of state of origin players in the Australian side for either Queensland or New South Wales. Here's Cronk and Slater, and alive it's kept. Morgan. Now it comes to Dugan, and Dugan carries it in. Still hasn't passed in. It's with Valentine Holmes, and the referee says, Scrippy, play the ball, go back and do it again. Such judges on the field as well, getting involved.
Last tackle.
So the last tackle here for Australia. Still a distance out. Cooper Cronk puts it high. Lomax keeps an eye on it. Bateman. In fact, it was Whittaker, I do apologise, just getting in the way of things there, but legally, according to the referee, and that's again a good punching effort from Ryan Hall, leaving Gillett on the floor.
They readjusted.
Curry. What we know about Ben Curry is that if he's given a glimmer of a chance, he's got the pace to take it the distance. Hyington. Whitehead, Elliot Whitehead, Canberra Raiders, one of the many in the England side who play in the NRL. Here's another Gareth Widdop. With his kick, Gagai's across to take. What's the responsibility himself here? Slater.
Tell me, guys, has it been that clean in the ruck that there's only been 2 penalties?
I was about to say the same thing. He's keeping the whistle in his mouth today. He doesn't want to blow that pee out of that, does he?
Thanks, mate.
That's good, though, isn't it? And the spectators.
Can I do it? It's fantastic. You know, it's fantastic.
Why?
As long as you're consistent with it too.
Cameron Smith. Effort made by Jordan McLean. But it's England who have it back again. Tackle 1, England stealing that ball. And that's why it's not a clean start, a 0 tackle. Roby, Whitehead. Footwork provided, but not enough to beat his man. Wade Graham all over him. Another of those who's making his debut tonight, the Cronulla man. McGilvray.
He's been impressive tonight, hasn't he?
Oh, he's got powerful. When he runs the ball, he scatters it.
Here's Graham. Taken high on his chest by Tom Burgess. England again working their way to the last play of the set. Gale's corkscrewing kick, which bounces awkwardly, but as cool a customer you cannot find than Cameron Smith, who bats it away to the support play of Billy Slater, who's turning rocks into gold here, and Australia carrying their way back towards a 40-metre mark on the very first play. Great play.
Well, 2 things. Luke Gale found a kick. Found some space, 5 metres from the Aussie line, and then Cameron Smith gets back and bats it to Billy Slater, and all of a sudden they're on the 40. Bit unlucky there for England, but super play from the Australians.
Yeah, the kick was one out from Widdop. You know, I'd like to see the other players push up and be able to stop them there.
Cordner. Pick up by Cameron Smith again here. Funneling towards the middle for Jordan McLean. Last play for the Australians, but look how close. There's danger. Smith, but it's to a Lomax, who's in an excellent position. Read that well, Johnny Lomax. So safety first for England again. Curry. He's not going to be fully fit, is he? He's not going to be fully match fit. As the tournament goes on, I think we'll see more and more of Ben Curry, but he's doing okay so far here tonight. Roby. Great. That run forward, saw a little bit of a corridor. Roby, he's seen something on as well and dashes in, and it takes a recovery tackle from Frizzell to halt his progress. Now it's the 6. Gale to Widdop. Widdop with a big pass wide again to McGilvray. McGilvray's kick comes off an Australian, but it will still be the 6th tackle. No doubts about that. Watkins keeps it alive. Gale now kicks over towards that far side. Not the best of kicks in terms of the chaser to grab the ball, but excellent kick in terms of Gagai being dragged down by Bateman into the in-goal area.
It repeats that there. That's a great kick, a fantastic kick for this England team.
I'll tell you what I love when he kicked it, when Gagai went up, there's 4 England players around there anticipating the kick and wanting to try and get something out of it. And I keep looking at the scoreboard at the moment. It's 10-4, and we're 10 minutes in the second half. There's nothing between the 2 teams.
His spirits lifting amongst English followers at the moment. Australia with the lead, but only by 6. There's Sam. I don't think we're going to see him back given his state of dress at the moment.
Stay behind. Wait for a drop. Thanks, mate.
Not the best of dropouts. James Graham can bring it back. And England start a set in an excellent attacking position. Roby. Hyington.
James Roberts made a huge difference to this team.
Yeah, where they're passing off the ground, now he's running.
Here's Widdop. Whitehead is less than 10 away. And England encouraged for the moment. Hill, great footwork by him again. He's got the hands, he's got the feet, he's got the power. But the Australians have got the answers in defence. Graham quickly away from Gale.
That's bombed.
Had Lomax caught that and got it away. England were in for a try, and I think Johnny Lomax knows that.
They had numbers on them. They just had to have a little bit of composure, ease back. What's the space here? Graham, Gale handles it well. There's Gagai, he's the last defender.
He's on. There's 3 English shirts there.
Well, we can hear James Graham from here. I think his teammates got the message now. Come on, England, is the cry from him. Clemmer and Woods ready to return for Australia. They have to wait till the swim is clear.
Come on, boys. Some of these Australian players haven't played for quite a while. I feel like they're feeling the pinch here a little bit at the moment.
Hang on before you get your excuses in. Some of the English players have not played for a while.
I agree with that, but everyone just thought Australia would get stronger in the second half. At the moment, there's nothing much in it. It was a boxing match. Just second half, they're tired.
It's Courtney. Boyd Courtney. Aaron Woods. Push again. Trebojevic. Great pass from Woods, and Trebojevic skinning on the outside of his defender, but it's not too damaging from England's point of view, because here's the last. Cronk puts it high. Lomax underneath. England start from there. Triple substitution, a triple interchange that Australia have made. There's Weber. Now Hyington. He's been involved tonight a lot, hasn't he? There's Hyington. He's been on the field, down the middle. Roby again. Hill. Easy to spot with that rosy red scrum cap on.
Hold, Dave. Hold, wait. Hold, mate. Hold. Go forward. Thanks, mate.
Widdop. Hyington again. Some level of inevitability. To Newcastle next year. Newcastle in Australia, that is. That comes from County Durham in England. Here's McGilvray. Again the width provided. And a little chip through. Watkins. Oh, and Billy Slater. The bounce was in his favour. And in Australia's favour.
I just think it's a smart option from England. They've had their kicks pressured, so they're going to the fringes now and trying to find either a centre or a wing that can find some space. A little bit more touch on that. If Callum Watkins plays at the ball, it's a great play.
I think Widdop's read it really well. He's seen that he's got space on the outside. If it's last, and he's taken the space. And it's made Australia really work at the back end of that set of 6, and it's taken a little bit out of them at the start of their next set coming out of their half. That's a strong run, man.
That's clever, yeah. It's a bit of
that's called route 1.
Frank's inside ball. They were defending on Graham, and that was the 6th tackle. So whatever Australia were trying to do there, it has failed, and England will get it back.
Millward's a very perceptive guy. I'm looking around the green and goals, and a couple of them blowing a little bit. A bit of a scruffy end to a set, maybe not as clinical as they're at. So can England stay in there?
I think from a mental point of view, at half-time, they probably thought they probably earned the right to have more points on the board, and sometimes that can affect your motivation a little bit, and they just sort of haven't kick-started themselves really much at the moment, Australia.
There's Gale. What have you made of the halves tonight so far, by the way? Gale and Widdop, they're involved in the game.
Yeah, it's very hard when you're coming out of your half all the time, but I have liked when they've got down there, he takes the ball to the line, Gale, which is a tough run. Widdop needs some ball down this end of the park, so he might get into that now.
Widdop is involved. Whitehead to Lomax, who suddenly explodes forward here. He just had his ankles tapped by Holmes, otherwise he was travelling well, but England remain at travelling well. Whitehead and Widdop. In comes Holmes to make the tackle. And it needed making because McGilvray was loitering on that outside. 6th play again. Gale puts it high. Ryan Hall is snipping an opportunity, knocks it back to Bateman, and Bateman, well, he does get the ball back, but it was his 6th, so it'll be a handover.
A lot of good things happening for England here. They've been more expansive, they've gone to fringes, they've found some space. It's a decent kick in the end from Gale, a kick with a bit of competition. Actually, Hall wins the competition, but they can't clean up the spoils and get over the line, but Very encouraging.
Just the try and a goal in it at the moment. And a reminder, it's only the first game. We'll analyse and perhaps over-analyse what happens here tonight, but there's so much that could go right and wrong for both these sides over the next 6 weeks. And there's lots of other competition as well. New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, Wales, Scotland, Ireland. And fancying progress. Smith taking it deep inside English territory here. Slater, clubmate, statemate, countrymate, to Cronk, who fits all three categories as well. High, Lomax, again the catch is simple enough, but the defence was right in his face. England rolling up their sleeves.
This is that pressure element I spoke about in the pre-match, and who will crack and who won't crack that arm wrestle, some people call it, and go in there and prepare to be boring and methodical in relation to getting to the other end of the field, and England are holding their own well here.
Certainly are. It's a big boot on that ball. Goes into the in-goal area, and they'll hope it stays there. It does.
That's a great kick.
Slater has to pick it up there. Widdop is the first man in there. A little bit of a juggle. He didn't fancy bringing it back, and Widdop, having put the kick in, is the man who makes the tackle.
Great chase. These are good signs for England. Good principles, good disciplines.
Talking about kicking for the moment, how smart was Widdop then? He kicked early. How do you do the hard work here in Australia? A little bit of pressure.
English fans, I think, generally speaking, would have been a little disappointed with Gareth Widdop in the white shirt of England down the years, but there's no doubting he's been extraordinarily good for St George Illawarra. This last year, from Cameron Smith is inside the 40, but it corkscrews short of the 20, so it will be England's head and field. He's your man, isn't he? Your man, Gareth Widdop.
Yeah, he's our captain. He's an extremely talented player with the ball in his hand. You need a good pack in front of him to create those metres. An organising halfback, which Gale is, and you'll see the skill out of him. Not only with the skill with him, he's got a great vision on his kick, and he creates a lot of tries for his teammates from kicks. So I thought it was a really interesting one there from Cameron Smith. His first thoughts was to get the ball in the touch, just to sort of walk down there, just slow this tempo down, so they can just sort of get that second win a little bit here at the moment in Australia. Like you said, Brian, England at the moment need to have back-to-back sets, but they've still got to have a little bit of air of wanting to play and make Australian defence work here at the moment. There's opportunities for both teams here at the moment.
But when they've been structured and gone to the edges, they've made 10, 20, 25 metres and allowed them to kick off the front foot without pressure.
There's Ryan Hall.
Keep working way.
Roby and then McGilchrist, and the two wingers, as we often see, very much involved in the early stages of clearing up the lines for England. Hill, size of a prop, footwork of a half. The Lachlan. Was looking to potentially bowl that back, but Aaron Wood's involvement in the tackle prevented that. And Hodgson with a little dash and a dart. Interesting that Hodgson and Roby are on the field for the first time in the game, the pair of them together on the field. We'll see how that works. There's a high kick, that's a good one as well. Bateman almost getting up to challenge. Curry making the tackle. Australia start from deep again. Chambers. Slater. Dane Gargallett. Cameron Smith, the general, the master of his trade. Here comes Clemmer. Cameron Smith again. Ryan left to Morgan. When he made his debut for the Aussies a couple of years ago, Michael Morgan, there's so much talent in depth in Australia. There's a kick that Lomax should deal with again, and does. Again, it's a curtain of green and gold that gets up there to greet him.
It just feels like it's a real cat and mouse game at the moment.
It does. It's just like one of those. Is the one that's going to miss a tackle or not miss a tackle, or is it going to be an Australian player? Is it going to be an English player?
They'll come up with an error coming out of yardage, and all of a sudden, wow, you're on the front foot.
This is Ryan Hall. This is a good carry again by Ryan Hall. Better than that, it's fantastic. Takes England beyond the halfway line. That's a moment.
The wingers have been great for England.
Hodgson with a short pass. Hill came steaming on. Roby's in at dummy half. Hodgson, the extra pivot here. Widdop's there. Widdop wanted to get it away, but Valentine Holmes blocked his path. So 6 play again. They're coming blind. They're coming with Hodgson. It's steepled up, chipped up towards Billy Slater. I think the intention was just to get in his face there. And they got in his face and round his neck from Kellen Watkins. And now it's Valentine Holmes.
I like what Coach Bennett's done here now. He's got O'Loughlin on, he's got Hodgson on, he's got Roby on, he's got Widdop on, he's got Gale. So he's not playing conservative here now. He's playing.
Chasing the game.
He's playing.
Several architects, but are they all working off the same plan? That's the concern. We'll find out in the next few minutes or so. Here comes Smith. Now Clemmer. Woods is there. In his face goes Gale, but Woods brushes him away and keeps it alive to Cronk. And now Chambers on that right-hand side. They've already reached the 5th here, Australia. They're still inside their own half. Cronk, from a tight angle, is forced to kick. Lomax, careful. Trebojevic is up there. Oh, McIlvray did really well there.
I caught that for him.
Oh, and then he's dropped the ball. He's dropped the ball. He'll claim the man in the rock.
It was a strong tackle, mate. It was a strong tackle.
Well, you heard the referee. It was a strong tackle. He had the responsibility to get away from that and play the ball. Well, after the good work, it's a real shame what came next.
Hang on, mate. It was a strong tackle. You play the ball when you can. No early. That's my ruling. You've lost it. No, mate.
Strong tackle. They've been in a dominant position.
Mate, no, not at all. I called the strong tackle.
2 big decisions that Chelsea's come on. The 5th play decision in the first half that you question, and this one.
Was there a second grab there, even before he got up and the man was still in the rock?
Yeah, I'd love to see the footage keep going there. Because didn't he say he lost it when he played the ball?
Well, for all the arguments that we might put for and against, it's Australia who are given the position here, and Slater almost takes advantage right at the start. Cameron Smith, 10 out, Clemmer again. He only knows one way. That's forward, forcibly. It's like he's stuck in second gear. Cameron Smith's got time to look around. His options are several. Cronk being one of them. Slater in from fullback. Chambers now on that right centre's position. England defenders outnumbering and outmuscling. But Australia remain poised here. Cronk has to reach. Here comes Smith again. Trebojevic tracks back to where it came. England hanging on. Cronk standing on that right-hand side. Ian Millwater's side, he thinks he's going that way. Back comes the other way. Woods now. And now Morgan. Morgan with the ball back on the inside again to Dugan. Dugan held up just short. So England somehow clinging on with one tackle to go. Smith with a kick to the in-goal area. There's no chase there. Not that really put any pressure on. And England get away with a tap back on the 20.
Traffic quick and go.
Here's Curry. Asking the initial question. Australia were ready.
You got to still pose the question. It's a poor kick by Smith. You know, as the greatest player he is, it was a poor kick, poor chase, and really relieved the pressure on England there.
I have to say that the goal line defence was outstanding again.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Release now.
Speckler is to his feet. Hodgson to O'Loughlin, whose head snaps back at the challenge from Clemmer.
Up now.
Hodgson again. Oh, Widdop has somehow caught it.
He's elbow.
Fantastic juggling effort from Gareth Widdop, and that was an important moment. This is Hill. That's a good carry. And the offload. A little scruffy, but it's done its job. Lomax picks up. Tries to put the footwork on Cameron Smith. 5 gone again. Last play looms. 30 metres out. Widdop sticking it high this time. Slater. Great kick. Oh, he's lost it. Billy Slater's lost it. Well, we've seen him make a mistake or two. Only the 1 or 2 down his career, and sometimes costly. We hark back to the 2008 World Cup when he gave New Zealand a chance to win it. And is this an early chance for England to get back level again?
I just saw the retrieval from Widdop. Billy Slater clean drops it. How many times do you see that? Yeah. But a mistake at that end of the field, and England's performance is second half, you have to say, has deserved that effort, has deserved that element of luck, and has deserved this attacking opportunity now.
Was there an element of being too clever there from getting a foot in the in-goal area?
Yeah, he was more worried about getting his foot in, so he catches on the full, and the rules in rugby league, then it would have been a 20-metre restart. That's what was in his mind, and all those things going on in his mind, he forgot the first thing was to catch the ball. And obviously his foot slipped. Big opportunity here for England. This is a massive opportunity. And even if you're not going to score here, is that build pressure. Build pressure.
There's Gale. And now Bateman. They could do with a set without any mistakes here. At the very least. Roby's going to go from dummy half and has bounced into the in-goal area, but he's held up.
Held up. Time out.
Held up. Referee doesn't need the video ref.
Yeah, mate.
He's having a quiet night tonight so far, Ben Taylor, isn't he? Sitting in the box just to our left. And the referee's made the calls.
He's falling asleep.
So they go back
10. Nose down, backside up. Billy Slater's underneath the ball for sure.
He might make one mistake, but he rarely makes more than one a game. What a season. Whitehead for England, 10 metres out. O'Loughlin has to dance into the dummy half position. Hodgson, here's Hill. Hill stepping off his left, trying to push himself through the gap there, but it closes quickly. James Roby stands and waits, back it goes, Gale again, now out to Lomax. Lomax will try and push his nose through as well. Bateman, sixth tackle. Bateman, what's he doing here? He's trying to go for the line himself. He's kept it alive. Lomax likewise, Curry across to Gale, and now it's with Hodgson who puts the kick to that in-goal area. Morgan's there to wrap it up. Australia get away with one. They start with possession 2 yards out.
Well, they had a crack, and Australia held. Importantly, to keep him at this end of the field. This end of the field.
Hang on, what's Billy Slater doing? He's rolled off the mark and then played the ball. Well, if Jermaine McGilvray is getting pinged for something at one end, you would have thought there might have been a case for a penalty against Australia there. Here's Clemmer.
Head out, mate. Just play the ball, David.
First name terms, the referee with the Aussie players. Here comes Aaron Woods.
Make sure you don't work the arm last.
First name terms with the England players as well, to be fair. Here comes Cronk. He's looking for touch here, just looking for touch. It's an efficient kick. They will give England possession back again, but an awful long way to go inside their own half.
I know you mentioned down here that they had a crack in that set, but gee, Hodgson doesn't kick. They had numbers on the outside. I like to see them put the ball through their hands, and they had numbers. They had plenty of bodies in motion.
I just think it was the wrong block in the wrong place.
Yeah. One fall I will say about Hodgson, he did in the NRL at times. He can be a bit kick happy. And they do that in the club team he plays for, Canberra. They'll move him to the 13 and bring a 9 on. He gets a bit kick happy. I'd rather see him pass the ball a little bit more than think it's all about him getting a kick. The tempo's really gone out of Australia, but hasn't it? Tempo's gone massive out. More so that it's all changed because they've got to come out of their half now. So using different energy levels now.
Jacob, short side, make it.
McGilvray, second winger involved in this set with the first 2 tackles gone. This is O'Loughlin. England pushing forward. 3 players has taken them towards the 40-metre mark. Hodgson again and puts it back to Widdop, and Widdop with a step. Morgan going to handle him. There was a covering effort from Graham as well. Here's James Graham, the English Graham, on the field. 6 again. They've raced through this set here, England, in terms of tackles gone. So Gale sends it skyward. Curry's up there. A little bit of a half-hearted challenge from him. Slater. Will Chambers tucks it in. In the 800th Kangaroo, he made his debut against New Zealand in 2015. Will Chambers. It's Cameron Smith. Clemmer. Smith. Cronk. And again, numbers here. The short pass was to Wade Graham. Australia 15 out, 5 tackles gone. Smith goes left. And Morgan kick here. And Lomax is across. And the referee is going for the video. We are going to see the video referee here. And does he think there's a try scored, or is he looking for the restart?
Yeah, he's looking for the restart.
I got no
there's no try, because this is big,
just
big for England, because if it's an error forced by the ball going forward off Australia, it's a 20-metre restart. Otherwise, it's going to be a dropout.
That's why it's a huge decision. He's gone to the screen.
Ben Thaler having a look at this.
Paused on the foot there. Everybody is on side in the vicinity, so I'm happy to play on from that.
So it's the first Henry Reddat cleared up.
Okay, wait, can we just go into grounding?
That sums up that Whitehead challenge, doesn't
Can we just jog back before that, please, to the challenge by Whitehead?
No, he's allowed to turn and escort him off the ball there.
If he gives this as a penalty,
he does turn his body, goes at him.
His intent there is to knock him off the ball, isn't it?
Does go across his path.
Right. Very close to the ball.
He's close to the ball, though, so I'm happy to play on from that. Let's play on from
that.
Well,
that's interesting. The referee on the field seems to be correcting that decision.
Get the ball down. It's in Lomax's hand, but it appears to be knocked out by Australia and knocked out forward. Can I have another side angle on that, please?
Well, from the way it was going originally,
so it's in Lomax's hand.
This is a complete reversal.
From that angle, it looks like the ball is knocked out forward by Australia, which it is. Yeah. And let's just see where the ball ends up. I believe it goes dead.
Correct.
It does go dead. Right, I'm going to start the game. I've got my decision. I'm going to the board.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, that was a really interesting insight there, wasn't it? Because I don't think we hear in England that conversation from the referee on the field with the video referee, where the video referee is thinking it might be a penalty, and the referee on the field says, no, it wasn't a penalty. I mean, from an England point of view, fantastic that
I'm impressed with that decision from the referee, and I'm impressed that that intimation was there, because I thought Ben Thaler was going to give the penalty.
He was going to give the penalty, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I don't think it was a penalty.
Tell you what I was impressed with, Adrian Morley's working for the media in the next box, and it's a clear thing, and he was staring at him as if to say, do not go against England here. So I thought he handled the pressure pretty good too.
Well done, Nuzzle. He's working for our Aussie colleagues over here. Adrian Morley had a bit of a giggle with him earlier about being a turncoat, but
big
English through and through, isn't he?
Big play that, but big decision. Yeah, big decision. Could be the catalyst here for England.
Well, it's still just the one score in it. We've not seen any score in the second half, but we've only got just over 8 minutes to play. It's with Widdop talking before the game about who wins and who loses. One scoreline we hadn't countenanced really was the draw, which there is a potential for here. O'Loughlin pushing forward. That will concentrate minds if England can score and kick the goal and get the draw. Concentrate minds going forward, because it'll come down to points difference, won't it?
James Gray.
Hudson. Here's Gale. Gale's kick. Well, Slater should have this, and he does. Curry's there, and Moore arrive to force the dropout.
Great pressure. That's the style of play. That's what you've got to do against a good team. Find the character, find the kick. Luke Gale there. Let them kick out from their own goal sticks. Goal posts. A bit bigger than sticks, aren't they?
I'll tell you what the difference too has been is the ability of Roby to run direct from dummy half. You know,
I think Roby's changed the direction of this team.
Yeah.
Since he's in.
Well, he's put the big Australian forwards under a lot of pressure with the way he's been direct at them, so they haven't had much time to get off their line, and he's coming at them. And there's a bit of space around there. Even that one where you said Graham caught that really well. Graham had been a bit tighter, and there's some big space just to the side of Roby.
So Smith with a kick. Gale with a catch. Graham with a muscular return. Hudson inside to O'Loughlin. There's Graham. Well, look at this for a position here. England 12 away. They've still got tackles in the bag. Roby with the dummy, and now it comes to Widdop, back to Lomax, who tries and does step away from the defender. There are more coming, though, and Lomax, eventually, his ambitions suffocated.
David will hold.
O'Loughlin, Widdop, Hodgson to Gale. They go wide. Here's Bateman. Here's Hall. Ryan Hall at the corner. No, the flag from the touch judge says the ball was lost. And it's Australia who get it back with a tap on the 20.
Oh, it's been compounded by a 20-metre restart here.
Oh, you're backing every day of the week there.
If he gets
low.
Yeah, I was going to say gets low. And
that was the corner he scored the phantom try, wasn't it, the last time England played here? And the video referee didn't give it.
Up now, James.
Well, England have been the better team in the second half.
So Wayne Bennett watching on is going to be encouraged, he'd say. He was saying tonight was all about performance, it wasn't necessarily about outcome. Here's Cronk. Morgan. Josh Dugan. He's passed. Here's Clemmer. 35 away from where he wants to be. It's Cronk. Now Wade Graham. Penalty for Australia. A reef by England. They go for goal here. They go for goal and try and win the game in this moment.
I'll definitely go for the goal. But, you know, they're very tired looking, both teams. This breaks the deadlock. It gives them a chance to suck him in, get some air, but also if he misses it, they get the ball back from a dropout.
Have a look. Have a look. Boys.
What are you thinking, Brian, from that?
Where's the penalty?
Well, have a look. You know, the referee, James Gale, was complaining about it, and it was being
James, I'll tell you
replayed in the big screen. Big screen behind him, and the referee was saying, have a look, with the big screen behind him.
All right to say that's only the third penalty in the game with 5 minutes to go, so two contentious one for England.
So a chance to potentially win the game here. Cameron Smith puts this over. England would have to score twice. Second half so far has yielded no points. This could be the first of them. He's kicked 1 from 2 so far tonight, Cameron Smith. And make that 2 out of 3. It's an 8-point lead now for the Australians. 12 points to 4. It's going to take something rather special for England to rescue anything points-wise from this game. We're just picking up that Wayne Bennett outlook. How does he look on this England performance?
Well, you can see the monitors in that half-time down there. It's the most animated and vocal I've ever seen Wayne. So what he was doing was challenging the England team for performance in the second half, and he's got that. So he'll be in a real good spirits at the moment because he knows there's improvement, a little bit more cohesion. He'd see some upside in his team, definitely.
So here's Maguire for Australia running in hard. 3.5 minutes to go. 12-4. Australia lead. Gaga. Cameron Smith and the winger Valentine Holmes, who adds a little bit of a zip to the situation. Smith, Woods. He's dropped it backwards, stabbed on by Slater. Lomax picks it up. The referee says it was a knock-on. Head and feed for England. Is there time here? 3 minutes to go.
Well, they're going to have to score this set. Is all I'll say, but reinforce what Ian's been saying in relation to the performance in this second half. There's plenty to take away here for sure.
I think what he'd be really happy about is one is their goal line defence under a lot of pressure in this game, which has been really good. The second thing is his forwards have been what we expected. They've been able to compete but make good meters up the middle. So a bit of cohesion with the ball, especially around the halves and the fullback. Because Lomax has had a couple of opportunities and he's sort of rushed it and come up with a couple of errors. Get that right, turn into points.
Whitehead, 20 minutes, gets up, plays the ball. O'Loughlin, Gale, Curry. Great introduction for him to this World Cup. getting up to speed. James Graham again now. Big body swaying and surging one way the other, and then sacks to the ground in the tackle, and Roby collects again. Aaron Woods has his number. Here comes the 6th. Hodgson slings it back to Widdop, who gets away from a couple of defenders. He's going wide. Curry. Widdop with a kick. It'll bounce here, but it bounces into the hands of Josh Dugan, who's away here, and this will be a dagger in the heart of England. Josh Dugan doesn't need to pass. He runs 80 metres to score the try that makes absolutely certain of an Australian victory. England were going for it, but it's the Australians who get it. 16 points to 4, and that is going to be an opening night victory to this World Cup for the Green and Golds.
I'm not sure they deserve this, but they're trying to catch the game. And when you do things like that, if you don't attack those type of kicks, you leave it open to do what Josh Dugan just does here. He gets the bounce. Callum Watkins doesn't get the bounce, and he's gone. He's going to be caught from there. Against the run of play, you have to say England chasing the game. And
have a go, this passion and attitude by this player, Graham. Look at him, front rower, turn, chases. Means something to him, doesn't it?
I think the character's intact. You can see that exemplified there by James Graham.
Well, he's always had that, hasn't he? I remember a game at Millsy Road, I think you were coaching, you were winning very, very significant scoreline, and the opposition got a breakaway try, and James Graham chased them all the way back, and was absolutely furious he hadn't got there, even though he still won about 48 points to 4 or something.
Yeah, it's one of the great things he brings. You know, you talk about enthusiasm, but he brings a real passion. You can see him at times talking to the referee, talking to his players, let's go, and just felt there was a real big in the second half of air of wow, we're going all right here. England not take a lot out of that, but just things like, you're right, Brian, you want the wing and the centre there to attack the ball. You know, don't wait for the bounce, make the bounce happen. And so look, there's plenty of positive. I thought the negative for Australia in this game has been Michael Morgan's had an unbelievable year at 6 for the North Queensland Cowboys, under a fair bit of pressure with James Maloney there, also in the squad, and Cameron Munster from the Storm. And I thought he's been really quiet tonight, which has probably took a little bit away from Australia's attack. So plenty to learn out of this game for both teams.
Well, Cameron Smith will take his time here. The clock is stopped on 27 seconds. I don't think we're going to get a restart. And Cameron Smith knows that in all likelihood this will be his last kick. In all likelihood his last game in a green and gold shirt on this ground. And here he comes, left-footed. And he's just put it in, The fireworks go up in celebration of that, and it's 18 points to 4 now. Australia on the balance of the game, a fair scoreline, or would England have deserved a little more than what they've got?
They probably think they deserve the win, but I think England have been the better team in the second half, exemplified by where they've been playing the game. We've seen a number of opportunities for Johnny Lomax and for other players in the team.
Well, the hooter sounds, and the last thudding hit of the night is provided by John Bateman, and that might be a memory they take throughout the tournament. But that's the first night opener of this World Cup 2017. Disappointment for England, but of course no way does it end here. These two might yet be involved in a final in Brisbane on December the 2nd, but it is Australia who take the spoils tonight. They have beaten the English by 18 points to 4.
And that is Australia's 12th straight win over England. Remember, 10 points to 4 till very late on, and then Elliot Whitehead penalised, the kick going over, taking it to 12-4, and then that very late try on the bounce of the ball, and Australia get the 2017 Rugby League World Cup underway with an 18 points to 4 victory. But I wonder how many positives Wayne Bennett and his team will find from that performance. I wonder how many positives the guys in the studio think there have been as well. We will find out very shortly, and once we're off air here on BBC Two, which should be about 12:15, then we'll move to the Red Button. We'll bring you plenty more reaction there, plenty more interviews, plenty more analysis as well. And we'll also look ahead to the rest of the tournament, look at Scotland's chances. We'll also look at Ireland and Wales, and we'll maybe hear from John Keir, the Wales head coach, as well, as they are in with Papua New Guinea in their group. And very shortly, we hope to get some match reaction from out there in Melbourne and hear from some of those players who have been involved. Jermaine McGilvray there, who had one of the performances for England. In fact, both wings did well for England. And we're still waiting for some post-match reaction. But we won't get that moment. Do you think, Kevin Sinfield, that there are positives for England after that?
Massively. I sit here now very buoyed by that second half. I think there'd have been some question marks with us not having Sam Burgess out there for that second half, but I thought we were great. You know, the 18-4 scoreline doesn't suggest or doesn't justify England's performance there. Second half, I thought we were the best team. I thought we created opportunities. Our right side in particular looked dangerous.
Obviously, you had to fight extremely hard for the victory.
Yeah, we were prepared for a tough battle tonight, Noddy, and we certainly got that. We're a little bit scratchy in attack. I think we got a little bit of improvement to do there, but all in all, it was a tough effort. Good start to our preparation.
Obviously, you love playing on this field. The combination, the 9, 7 and 1, that was sort of what got Australia through in the end.
Oh, look, that comes natural to us. We've been playing together for 17 years, the three of us. So, look, those little plays are up our sleeve all the time, and we just need to hold the ball, build a little bit of pressure, and get them tired around the middle for them to come off.
You get to see England for the first time today. What do you think of their performance and their strengths were?
Yeah, I thought their strengths were their back three. Their wingers are so hard to handle. Their fullbacks playing extremely well, and they shift the ball. They make you defend from sideline to sideline. So they're going to go a long way in this competition, and they're going to get better.
Congratulations on the victory. Well done, Bill.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Also have Sean O'Loughlin. Well, Sean, so close. You got off to a wonderful lead. You know and appreciate now, I suppose, how great Australia are, and also how close you guys are.
Yeah, it wasn't aware how good of a side was going to come up against tonight. I think both sides a little bit rusty still. Quite a few errors from both sides and a lot of improvement, I think, from both sides. But disappointing, but we know there's a lot more in us, as there is in Australia. But yes, it's not a bad place to start. We're not pleased with the loss, but we can take a lot from it.
Who are your best players, you thought? Who really stood up for the England side?
I thought our backfield was strong. They dealt with a lot of the kicks well, carried the ball back well for us. Forwards good at times. I thought everyone had a real dig tonight. There was some patchy periods of the game for us, but all the effort was there from everyone.
Yes, plenty of good signs. Thanks a lot, and good luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you very much.
Well, there are the match stats for you. Australia winning by 18 points to 4. What's interesting, if you just take the missed tackles again, we mentioned that at the end of the first half. England had 33 missed tackles by the end of the first half, so only up to 43 by the end of the game. So that means they only missed 10 tackles in that second half in what was a much improved performance. By the way, just on Sam Burgess, we've heard from the camp, and that is that he has tweaked a knee and that he was taken off as a precaution. Whether that develops over the coming hours and days, we don't know. But the latest from the camp is that he tweaked a knee and was taken off as a precaution. Justin, both Billy Slater and Sean O'Loughlin focused on England's back three, focused on Lomax, McGilvray and Ryan Hall.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I had that written down. We spoke about it before the game, and I think they delivered. They got him out of trouble well, and they also looked dangerous down the other end of the field. I agree with Kev. I thought England, as we all do, had the better of the second half. I thought they created some really good opportunities, and obviously with the game being on a Friday morning here, I hope the English fans don't just look at the result and think, oh, we only scored one try, because there was some great attack played there, and I think the style, the way the game's played over here, come out in the second half in tonight's game. And I said Australia wouldn't beat themselves, they didn't, but I thought England really took it to them as we asked them. Well, we hoped that they would do.
We talked about England's kicking in the first half. Was their kick pressure better in the second half?
It definitely was better, but equally in the second half, they were able to give themselves a little bit more time and space on the board to get a better kicking game themselves. And when you're getting on the front foot, when you're winning the small things, like they won the ground a lot more as well. So they were able to come up with back-to-back plays. We talked about in the first half how none of their kicks had led to a repeat set. They did that in the second half. They started doing the small things right. And I think that's what we saw, the balance come back into the game for them. I think Australia will be quite concerned, because there's things that England were evidently so much stronger than Australia were. And I think the halves partnership between Widdop and Gale is only going to get better as their combination time becomes stronger.
And that at the end was just a bounce of a ball when you're pushing to try and score.
You got 1.5 minutes left in the game. It's a bit of a Hail Mary play, and it could have gone either way. England could have sailed under the post there with Watkins coming through. The ball bounced, luckily for Dugan. He went the length of the field, and that's the sort of risk you got to take in those sort of situations. It could have gone for England.
Yeah. Don't bring Hail Marys into it. I'm already struggling with defence and not saying defence as I do on other shows. But go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree with Robbie. I think, Australia got a lot of concern with the English side. As we spoke about with Australia, they had the three key members from Melbourne that dominated the first half, but the second half was all England, and both sides will get better, but I think it's going to be, England will take a lot more confidence even though they lost the game for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I think we've got to play. I think that second half showed us what our strengths are in the Super League over here. We offload the ball, we ask questions, we move the ball from side to side. The NRL game is very, very different. But we need to play to our strengths. That second half was exactly where we need to be.
But can you play in the first half like England played in the second half? i.e., do they need the big guys first half to try and tire out a team, and then you have Hodgson, Roby, O'Loughlin, Widdop, Gale?
It's an interesting question. We've got to find the right balance that works with. We need some big men in there, that's evident, but we've got some big men who can play football as well. O'Loughlin, Burgess can all pass, Chris Hill can all pass. Big Alex Walmsley, I saw in that game last week, tipped onto Tom Burgess who sails through under the post. So we've got some big men who can play short passes, and that's what we have to build our game on. I believe if we try and beat Australia, going set for set in an arm wrestle type game where we have one-out carries and try and kick the ball better than they can, we will lose.
Oh, I think one of the interesting aspects, the difference from the first half, none of the passes were pushed. It was all measured. It was, yes, we were moving the ball, but we were moving it within our structure, within our capability. The lead runner, the guy who was carrying the ball, was going right into the Australian line. And the Aussie defence, 1 and 2 defenders out, they had to deal with the short runner. And they were the pass out the back was hitting the man perfectly. We saw it go down in the first half, so their skills levels were much better in the second half. And that tires the Australian defence out, so it's more space, it's cyclical. And that's what they need to do more of.
Yeah, I agree. As Robbie said, that first half, O'Loughlin threw the ball over the sideline, Widdop threw it to no one, and that was the difference in the two halves. Second half, Johnny Lomax looked dangerous every time, as did Widdop, O'Loughlin, and the guys on the edges looked really dangerous. So that was a difference. I thought they tried to play in the first half, but we come up with some... Well, I say we, see you talking
Well done, Kevin.
I've got a soft England come up with some errors, and who am I going for? And then the second half, they completed those passes, and that was a difference. And it's a shame they didn't get over the try line in the second half.
My guess is that your St Helens players might not let you forget that.
Well, now that I'm coaching over here, I've got a soft.
Let's just take a look at some of the England chances in that second half. We'll start with what came through Widdop, and we're just going to show this to begin with, because this handling is fantastic, Kevin.
Yeah, do you know what? I thought he was outstanding in the second half. I thought he gave us some great balance on that right edge, but I also thought his kick selection, his pass selection, and when he decided to run the ball, he was dangerous. So, that kick there, to ask a player of that calibre a question like that, for him to put the ball down, shows the type of pressure we were putting Australia under.
And they asked them questions. In all these chances, they asked them questions, yeah?
One thing I think that England was just missing was a little bit of combination time in this type of set of rugby. Just getting the ability to get the rhythm right on the good ball line. What France and Lebanon is going to offer them is a little bit more combination time, and I think that's going to be great going into the playoffs. England's going to have that ability to actually, we know what to do when we're on the opposition's try line, and I think getting to the try line wasn't a problem for England tonight, and especially in the second half. This morning, actually, I'm thinking I'm down under. But once you get there, it's been able to be composed and set up strike play. And I think over the next couple of games, they're going to have that time on the ball and the time and space to get their rhythm going. So there'll be a different product to offer when come the playoffs.
OK, time to get some more reaction from the stadium now. We can hear from Josh Hodgson.
Sum up that 80-minute performance from England. I thought we was a little bit patchy. I thought certain areas of the field we just made too many errors, and I think
Ultimately, you know, a lot of defending off the back of that, and then we obviously lost Sam in the first half, which hurts. But you know, we need to grow from that. We know we're a better team than what we showed, but we need to be tougher on ourselves as well, and not letting those little errors and that just lying themselves out. We need to work on that.
Yeah, certainly field position was hard for you to find 60% of the game in your own half, and I suppose that wore you out, the tackling you had to do. But the fact that it was 10-4 right near the end of the game, the fact that you had chances to win it, that's what you're going to gain belief with?
Yeah, definitely. We're always a team that'll put effort in from minute 1 to minute 80. You know, we know that, but we need to be better in our execution and as you said, the field position.
Does that better in execution come with more time together, better combinations as this competition evolves?
Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, we'll get a few more games under our belts and hopefully keep progressing through the competition. And the more we play alongside each other, the more time we've got to iron those things out.
You don't want him to be happy at defeat, but does it hearten you that he is that unhappy with aspects of the performance when we're saying there's lots of positive?
Yeah, I think you expect that from players. I think they'd be quite self-critical of where they're at and the performance. You understand they've got to get better. But I think we all sit here today quite happy with that second half in particular. We only have to beat Australia once in this competition. Let's not forget that. And we might have lost the battle today, but we've come off a little bit wounded. You know, we might be some concerns over Sam, but we've certainly not lost the war. It's all to play for. We've got 2 games now where the coaching staff may choose to rotate 1 or 2 and let people fight for selection for when we hit quarter-final time.
But then I suppose, again, the fine line there is you want people to be fighting for selection, but if you take Robbie's point, you need combination time.
Yeah, you do. You need a mix of both. So I think the boys are both right with their answers, and I'll sit on the fence with it as well. I think, you can't play every game this time of year. They're coming off long seasons, but they've got to get the combinations. So, look, I think they showed that tonight, so I wouldn't be opposed to rotating a few because I think the combination showed in the second half. And as you said, I love the way Roby and Hodgson both played with O'Loughlin. I thought James Roby was outstanding. I thought the way he had him rolling down the field, I think he looked really
What's he
dangerous.
like to work with?
Fantastic. Yeah, he's so easy to deal with. You know, he'll just sit in the shed and you go, Robes, he'll just ask you what you want him to do. Out you go and do it, and he'll just do it. So he's pleasure to work with. You know, I've said that a few times this year. Actually, Kev and I were talking about him. Kev loved playing with him, and I just said it's just a pleasure to get to coach. You know, he's just very unassuming type of guy and very humble, and just I was pleased for him to see him play so well today.
I think one of the keys to him is also he's one of the elder statesmen in the team. He can bring so much at that level. He's played at this level for a long time. And there's the smarts. When the going gets tough, when you need to pull the troops together a little bit more, and then you need to start getting on the front foot and making sure that you're playing smart and not playing on emotion. He won't be fazed by that. He's played in every game, every final, Super League finals, world clubs. He's played in them all. Nothing will faze him, and I think that's really important. That experience within that group and crucial moments in the game where we saw how he was a key fulcrum to England's game turning around in their second half.
I love playing alongside him. I just think he almost got a sixth sense of what to do, a calmness about him. He understands when there's space outside him, even though the ruck might be quick and he should run. He understands when he needs to run. He's a machine physically. He just tackle, and he never looks tired. And to top that off, he's brilliant around the squad. You couldn't ask for a better guy to go on tour with. He's a model pro, he's a gent, and he'll only get better in this competition. I think for him, it's his third World Cup, and I'm sure in the back of his mind he'll want to go out. He may not get another chance. He'll want to go out and certainly not take this one for granted.
Well, Kevin and Robbie and Justin will stay with me and we'll be on the red button from about 12:15. Yes, and Harris will join us as well. We can go back to Melbourne. I think Dave Woods has got more reaction. Tyson Frizzell from the Australian camp is with him.
Well, Tyson Frizzell, a winning side tonight, and you came off the bench with some impact. How much did you enjoy that tonight?
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. We knew England were going to be a tough hitter first up, and they definitely were. They controlled the ball really well, and they pushed us right to the end there. And we knew they'd do that, and lucky enough for us, we're happy to stick in there and come over to win.
Did you feel you got on top of England's forwards? That was a big question beforehand. Was England's the better pack? Did you feel you got on top of them tonight at all?
Oh, in patches there. I don't think the whole performance from us was, up to scratch. We did play well in patches, but like I said, we turned over a bit of ball there in the first half, and you know, we're looking to work a lot better. You know, their full pack are very dangerous and they're very solid, and they showed that tonight. But you know, like we said, we stuck in tough and come over to win.
And of course, the World Cup last time, you had a Welsh jersey on. And have you had much contact with the Welsh there in Papua New Guinea ahead of their first game? Have you spoken much to them, John Keir and the team?
Well, I haven't spoken to them, you know, in the past week, but you know, leading up to the World Cup, I'd been in touch with them, and you know, I wish them the best of luck, and you know, hopefully they can play well. And you know, it's good to see the Wales team in the World Cup and doing well.
Well done tonight.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Super tastic.
We'll talk more about Wales, as I say, on the red button, and Ireland and Scotland as well. So we are underway with this 2017 Rugby League World Cup. Australia top Pool A. France against Lebanon is a 5 a.m. game on Sunday. Obviously, England still have both those countries to play. We'll show you highlights of that France-Lebanon game across the weekend here on the BBC. This is what is coming your way. The Red Button Forum, and get in touch with us, hashtag BBCRL, if you want to put a question to Justin or Kevin or Robbie. We'll be on the Red Button very shortly. Highlights of tonight's game, if you want to relive it. The second half's better than the first, obviously, from an English perspective, from 10 to midnight here on BBC Two. BBC One has highlights of Papua New Guinea, Wales, New Zealand, Samoa, Fiji, USA, tomorrow lunchtime from 1:15. And that France-Lebanon game is on Sunday at 5 o'clock, along with Ireland against Italy. So thank you very much to Justin and to Kevin and to Robbie. As I say, they will join me on the Red Button very shortly. Iestyn Harris will join us as well. Hashtag BBCRL to get your point to the four of them. The Rugby League World Cup is up and running. Defeat for England, but plenty of positives. Bye-bye.
Vikings v Browns, live from Twickenham, Sunday at 1 on BBC Two.
Last year, Exodus brought you the stories of the million migrants trying to get to Europe. They thought they'd made it, but it was only the beginning.
I think we made a wrong decision leaving Afghanistan.
Sometimes I think that I should never been in this world.
You want help.
Exodus, the award-winning series, starts Thursday at 9 on BBC Two.
Seven o'clock tonight on BBC Two. Will Britain ever have a black Prime Minister? Right now, John Pienaar with the matters of the moment. Daily politics, later than billed in some listings.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Politics. North Korea has been blamed for the cyber attacks that hit the NHS back in May, but is there anything we can actually do about it? Pressure's mounting on the government to reduce the length of time people have to wait before they receive universal credit payments. We'll discuss whether more changes need to be done to improve the scheme with one of its original architects. The European Parliament has been debating what can be done to halt sexual harassment, with many staff in Brussels saying they have been victims themselves. And the robots are coming, but are we ready for them? We'll look at what needs to be done to prepare us all for the robotic revolution. All that coming up. Now, let's specially welcome Rugby League fans who've just been watching England lose to Australia. You're smiling, guys.